Smart movers, welcome back. I'm Siam Pasarlay. Today we will discuss staffing and recruiting business with Judy Collin, the United States Staffing Association Director. She is experienced in temp and contract marketplace. She can help with opening, managing, and maintaining the all aspects of employment process. Judy was honored by receiving many awards and has rich experience with multicultural organizations. Welcome, Judy. How are you?
Yes, great. Thank you very much for having me. And yes, I really love the temp and contract placements that really can help people find the jobs that they really want or need. I have been doing this since 1993.
1993.
Yes, for
Oh my
a
God.
long time. I was the general manager of a very large company, and it was an EOR, which stands for Employer of Record, which
Wow.
is a section of the temp and contract marketplace. And that really is where I have gained so much experience and have met so many people that have helped me through my entire career.
Oh my
So
God.
I'm very thankful for that.
It mean you are working almost for 30 years in the staffing and recruiting industry.
Yes, yes.
Oh my God. So this is very great. And it will give me one question that I'm going to ask you. This is a long journey from 1993 up to now. How do you evaluate the changes?
There's been a lot of changes, but really a lot has to do with learning and teaching, because the EOR, the Employer of Record part of the business, has grown so much that people don't understand how it can help them grow their business and how they can help then other people find jobs when they need it.
Wow. And how do you see the impact of AI, artificial intelligence?
AI is very important, and it will help us because it will help us be able to write better job descriptions. It will help us better to post those jobs so that we can tell candidates what they need to be looking for. It really will help then make our lives much easier. But we need to really then look at that progress, and it's just like Google or LinkedIn, that it is a tool that we can use, but it will never take away the human touch. People are always going to be needed to make the final decisions and to really have that personal impact with each other's lives.
Lots of job seekers, they have concern that they will lose their jobs. What do you think?
I think the jobs will change. AI is very good at maybe doing maybe a little bit of the intellectual part of it, but there's so much that people have to be involved, that it is a tool, and AI is a tool that we need to learn how to utilize so that it will make our lives easier, it will make our lives better, but we need to learn how to work with AI. So
your suggestion is to not escape from AI, be friendly and learn.
That's right. That's right. I think our lives are constantly changing and making hopefully for the better. So I think AI, we need to learn how to work with artificial intelligence to make our lives better, to make our lives a little easier. But we need to know that we humans are still important. It is our lives, and we still have that free will to make those decisions. And we always have to remember, that's right, it's about working with people, about working together.
Yeah, so people have some concern about the dark side of AI. I totally agree with you. People should learn, let's cope up with this environment. Whether we want or not, AI is coming, revolution is coming. Lots of things will change. How do you feel yourself? Do you use AI, artificial intelligence, like ChatGPT and Google Bot, or some of these platforms?
No, I don't use those platforms right now. I have certainly had, looked at classes, heard lectures about AI, but no, I have not utilized that technology. My job right now is really connecting people. And once that happens, then I'm not so much into the day-to-day recruiting and staffing. What my job is to connect people. And then once they're connected, then they can utilize that technology.
So how do you connect people?
I call and talk to them. I do have, of course, use all sorts of technology, of course, email and text messaging and, and Googling and, LinkedIn. I use all those technologies, and that's how I really connect with people, because I've been in this business for so long that, it could be years. And then all of a sudden, somebody needs something.
Yes.
They will contact me. They will send me a LinkedIn message. They always have my cell phone number, that then they connect with me. I like to make those connections, of course, kind of on the soft, kind of connect at the very beginning, but I like to then also talk with people. I like to hear their voice. I like to, in this case, it's seeing and meeting you, which is so important. And I could not get that relationship without that personal touch.
Yes, you're right. Yeah, I believe that. Thank you very much. So another question, I would like to come back to the topic, which is staffing and recruiting. What is your information about these two issues, staffing and recruiting? Are they the same or different?
Well, they're a little different, but then they're also the same in that they are trying to find the person for the job. So when you have a recruiter, having a assignment or a job opening, how are they trying to find the best person? So they have to maybe recruit somebody that maybe has that experience, but how are they getting to know that person? And then it is staffing really has to do with on the contract side. There is contract and there is a direct hire. So that those are two separate kind of recruiting that recruiters right now are dealing with. Most companies are blended. Maybe in the past they were more direct hire, and now companies are needing some of that contract staff. And contract staff now has so many different names. It could be called contingency workforce. It could be called the gig economy, an independent contractor. It is a freelancer. It is a different group that really works within that staffing umbrella.
So the other question is here, who is responsible to pay for the recruiters or staffing agencies? The job seekers or the company?
The client company, who the recruiter is working for. The recruiter will work with a client company where that person's going to be working, whether that is a direct hire or if it is a contract position. But the company will pay the fees, not the applicant, not the employee.
That is good. Thank you very much. One another question. You said direct hire and then the contract. Can you elaborate this more? What is the difference between direct hire and the contract?
When you have a direct hire, that is when the person is under the control and direction of the client company. They are the employer. They are the ones that will cover the employee under workers' comp, unemployment, benefit packages. They really will take that person in-house, and they will be a direct employee for the company. When you're talking about contingency staffing or contractors, those people are not an employee of the client company. They will go in, they will have maybe a special job, they will go in and that they will be independent, or they will be an employee of the recruiting firm. Really where my expertise comes in is where the EOR part of the business. It is when a recruiter has somebody that is going in as a contract person into a client company to work, and the recruiter does not want to take the responsibility of becoming the employer of that person. And why is that? It could be they're not set up to do business in that state. It could be that they're not set up to withhold taxes, or to maybe even, collect all the timesheets, have the person paid every week, send out invoices, collect on those invoices. That takes a lot of time. And recruiters are focused on finding the best person for the job. And it is not part of their core business, even though it is an important part of their business. So if they can outsource that employer of record portion that is called back office, if they can, then refer that out, then it is better for everyone. The employer of record then would become responsible for onboarding that person, making sure that they know all their tax withholding, would give them a W-2 at the end of the year, be able to offer them benefit packages. And then that would be their contact in case there was a problem. Then they could call the employer of record, and then they would help them. Then it's all a partnership. I like to think that we all work together. It is the client company needs the person. The recruiter finds the right person. The employer of record can come in and help after those relationships have already been established, and then take it down into the day-to-day operation part.
So what is your recommendation for startups, for small businesses that they are new in this industry? Should they go with the direct hire or with the contract base?
They need to be blended. They need to start that relationship with their clients, the client company. So where I would say it would be good is do on the direct hire. Absolutely. If you can find the right person and the client wants them to come in and be a direct hire and come into that company culture, that is great. That is where that they will earn the larger amount and a very quick the amount of money really very quickly, because then they will come in. Right now, I think a lot of companies are maybe hesitant about bringing on some of the direct hire. And so if you can give your client the option and say, here, take this person in as a contractor, let them make sure you like them, that they like you, it is a good fit, then they can bring them in under a contract right now. It could be, 60, 90, the time can be limited on that. But if the client then at the end of that period decides they like that person, it's a good match, then the recruiter would invoice the client company their direct hire fee minus the profit that they had made when that person was working under a contract, that
So
on that hourly basis.
how much a recruiting agency or a staffing agency can charge the client? If you can tell me the minimum and maximum, the percentage.
I would say that probably the cost depends on what the person is going to be doing. What is their job title? I mean, how hard is that position, going to be filled? I think it has been for many, many years that the average was a 50% markup of the pay rate. And that 50% covered finding the person, having them come to work, and on the contract side, because then you have all of the taxes and insurances that is mandated by the government and by the state or by the city. All of those aspects have to be covered.
Yes.
So then there's enough proper profit built in, so the recruiter knew how much money they were making per hour. For every hour that person worked, they knew that they were making a profit. On the direct hire side, it is completely different. Those fees go anywhere for 20, 30, maybe 35% on the high end of that they could then charge their client on the pay rate, how much that person is going to make on an annual basis. Then they could mark that up, and then that is what they would invoice their client company. But on the contract side, then the client company is receiving an invoice every week for how many hours that person had worked in that week. So their profit is completely calculated in a different way.
So for the direct hire, you said that the staffing agency should have commission for 1 year. So they are charging the client for 1 year, and they will have the whole money or charges at the beginning of the contract, or they can have it at the end of the contract or at the middle of the contract.
There should be a contract in place. It's mostly called a master service agreement. So everyone is on the same page, that the recruiter knows what is expected of them, and the client company can say what they expect from the recruiter. So when you have that master service agreement and it deals with many different aspects, then that is where you would put in the fee that would be charged. Then you would probably have a direct hire agreement. So it would say that, their fee was, say, 25% of the annual salary. That would be invoiced probably to the company when the person starts their job. They will probably have some sort of guarantee that if that person didn't stay for some length of period of time, or if for some reason the person left, then they would have to either return the money, which is never really a good solution, or they would find somebody else then at no cost. So that is probably how a direct hire would go. On a contract position, if the client company did not like the person at any time, they could say the assignment has been ended. And then that is the end of the assignment. The person, the employee, would get paid for every hour that they had worked. But there was no guarantee that they are going to get paid for any other time. And so then that is just the end of the assignment. That's why a lot of client companies feel so comfortable when a recruiter offers that contract position, because then that is how they can get to know the employee and be able to then make that decision. Do they like that person? Do they want them to stay? Do they want them really to become part of that internal team? But by giving them that option, the recruiter is just opening up the door for a lot of business, because I think another big part is the company budget, that companies have budgeted a certain amount for direct hire. What happens if that budget is cut? Then, or if they've reached their cap on that, then a recruiter can say, bring this person in under a contract, which is entirely different on the accounting side. And then they can work it that way to where they will still make a profit. It is just over an extended period of time.
And based off my information and what you explained, it seems that it could be very expensive for client, for the employer to hire through staffing agencies. Do you think, am I right? It can be expensive?
Well, it depends on how you look at it. You either have to have somebody in-house that you're paying an annual salary to, that their time is going to be finding new employees.
Mhm.
So what are their job duties? And does that mean that you're going to have to pay somebody $70,000, $80,000 a year to be able to recruit? I mean, is that in your internal budget? Do you want your HR, your human resource department, to handle then that recruiting? Well, then if their time is spent recruiting and finding new employees and finding qualified people to come in, which can be very time consuming, then that is what they're paying that in-house person for. And remember, whatever you're paying a person, then that is just part of the bottom line. You pay the person a salary, but you also have to include all of the employer matching taxes, their benefit packages, and there's so many other added costs into that, their unemployment rate, that all of that so you can figure it's almost 33% more than what you were paying the person, that you have those expenses added in. So if you are maybe a small to mid-sized company, you're looking for very specific jobs to have qualified people come in, it is probably better to hire a recruiter to help you find those people.
So now another question is here. What about staffing agencies? Do staffing agencies pay all these benefits that you mentioned to the job seeker or applicant?
Yes, somebody has to pay them. Somebody has to be in charge of the benefit package. That now it is mandated under ACA, the Affordable Health Care Act, that person has to be covered. If you have 50 or more employees, you have to make them have health care available to them. So they have to be compliant with that. Somebody has to cover them under workers' comp. Somebody has to cover them under unemployment. So when you're paying that person, taxes have to be withheld. Then they have to make those tax deposits to the government, and they have to keep track of that. So at the end of the year, the person knows exactly how much they are paid in their W-2, so that they know their tax liability. So there's also parts of the onboarding process that's very important. Does the client company, where the person is going to work, do they want you to run a background check? Do you need a pre-employment drug screen? Is that person, qualified to work in the United States? Do they pass an E-Verify, which means that their social security number matches what the IRS has? Then all of that has to take place before actually the person starts. There's a time limit on you cannot have that person working with your client company if you do not do some of the regulations that the government really has set into place.
Yeah, this is very nice information. It was very useful information. Thank you very much. Usually, my YouTube channel viewed by startups, so lots of people who would like to start their own businesses, especially in a staffing agency or a staffing industry. This information is very useful. Thank you very much. Another question is here: is it difficult to find job seekers in the United States? I'm talking about the companies to hire. Like we have Indeed, we have LinkedIn, we have many other online platforms they can use to announce their positions and find the candidates. But still, it is difficult. They need to hire a staffing and recruiting agency to do that.
I think that it is changing a little right now. The marketplace is changing. Within the last couple of years, it has been a candidate-driven market because companies were looking for qualified people to come in and work. The workplace was changing. All of a sudden, people were not coming into the office. They were working remotely. Maybe the requirements were a little bit different, and it was very hard to find qualified people. Then companies hired a lot of remote employees. Now, I think the job market is changing a little bit because companies are wanting their employees to come back into the office. They want more control and direction of their employees. And a lot of people are not willing to give up that freedom. They like working from home. They like making their own judgments and not, having to come into an office every day or not having a dress code and not having to pay maybe for transportation to go in. There are a lot of benefits from working at home. So now when companies are wanting people to come back into the office, what happens if some of that workforce says, no, I'm not interested in that? Then the company is going to have to find other people that will come in and will work at their job site. And in some positions, there is no compromise. You need to be there to work. Your job is specifically, you have to come in. They cannot be remote positions. So I think an industry that has been affected by this a lot maybe is the medical placements, because you have teledoc, you have telemedicine that people are helping remotely. They can call a patient to make sure that they're okay. How are you feeling? All of that now does not make the patient have to come into the office. But on the other hand, then you are going to have people that are going to have to come into the doctor. So where are you going to find those people that are willing to come in and have face-to-face contact? So, recruiters really then, when they are talking with their clients, that is who will give them direction. Then it will tell the client company will tell the recruiter, I need these people to be in the office this certain amount of time or these certain amount of days, but they'll put the perimeters really on the workforce.
Yeah, thank you very much for the information. That was useful. Another question is here that, well, we understood that people would love to work from home, and there are some challenges also. And then people have access to the technology. They can also contact with the companies. They can go and they use the online resources. The question is here, what do you think about the staffing agencies? Staffing agencies are growing or dying?
I think the role of HR, the Human Resource Department, has changed. Before it was always, somebody came into HR, they filled out all their paperwork. HR, the Human Resource Department said, yes, you need to show up at this time. You need to have this dress code, or this is who you're going to be reporting to. So that HR department now is really getting much larger because there is more and more responsibilities placed on HR professionals, that they have to make sure that everyone is compliant with all the new rules and regulations. So that whole department is changing a little bit. I think then recruiting firms really are growing because they are helping that HR department when they are overwhelmed and cannot find the qualified people. Then they are going to be calling their recruiter. And I think the recruiters have relationships on two sides. I think they're making their candidates happy, the people. You've got to make sure that you know what kind of job they are looking for, what are their qualifications, and what kind of job will make them happy. And then on the other side, you also know that you're working with your client company. You have to make sure the hiring manager is happy. You have to make sure that the HR department is happy, that the person is compliant with all the rules and regulations. So I think we're all starting to work together, and so which will make us all better.
I think you point another interesting issue. I have heard that HR people don't like to work with the recruiters. They feel a kind of that they think that they are competitors. So and you say that we need to work with HRs because they need us. They
That's right.
need us to work with them and make them successful. If HR cannot bring people to the organization, and an organization need people to hire, so it means they failed. So I think this is very interesting. Yeah, I was watching some other YouTube channels before. They say that don't go to HR people, go to the CEOs or other people indirectly. Find the someone who is a decision maker in the company, find them, and then create a connection with them. But I think this makes sense. What you said is like amazing.
Yes, Robert Cheryl.
Well, it would be nice. I think the decision makers and the hiring manager who is really putting in maybe their request for the employee, who are they looking for? What qualifications do they need? So yes, the recruiter needs to talk to the hiring manager. They need to talk with that. But then let's work together with HR to make it much easier and to make it better. We're all working together on the same team.
Mhm.
And I think it makes life so much easier and so much nicer when we all want to work together. So what we really want to do is make sure that they have the right person for the right job, and then that person feels comfortable going in to that organization, and it's a pleasure to work with them.
Exactly. And logically, to be very honest, if you approach anybody in the organization, at the end, you come back to HR.
That's
You
right.
need to go through them. So that is good to have a great relationship with the HR people. So my understanding is from your conversation that the staffing agency is in demand, it is growing. So this industry is not losing.
Yes, the other part is when you had the great resignation, when you had so many people leaving their jobs, especially during the pandemic, a lot of people were maybe reevaluating their work life and their work-life balance. So you had a lot of people maybe changing where they had worked before and had resigned and maybe wanted to go in a different direction. So this is where recruiters really could help also, that hopefully when you have a candidate, you have a work-life relationship. So if somebody comes in, excuse me, that They may not have the experience that they need for this new career. And the recruiter can say, well, here, let me help you. You need to have this kind of experience. Let's maybe get you in under an entry level position and work your way up. Or when somebody is new, maybe they're just graduating from college and they don't have really the expertise that they need, then let the recruiter help you move you up. And so in the long run, you will have that relationship then for many, many years. Because then before, if you could be working at a job, maybe 3 to 5 years, maybe you've hit a cap. That there's no more promotion, there's no upward ladder that you can go up. So you will call that contractor, you will call your recruiter back and let them know it's time for me to make a change. I've grown from my position. I want more responsibility. I would like more money. Maybe something else has changed in your life, but you want that relationship with the candidate to be really years long. It is not just one time talking to somebody, finding them the job, and then moving on. You want to make sure that you have that relationship for a long time.
I'm very sorry for one distortion. I just want to turn off the EC. It bothers. Yeah. I don't want to have this noise. So other question, we will edit this part. Other question is here that which industry is more in demand in hiring?
Well, that's a loaded question. It is always moving. It's a constantly changing job market, because I know a lot of time hospitality was a big business. And then during the pandemic, of course, nobody was going out. They weren't going out to restaurants. They were not traveling. That industry was hurt very badly during the pandemic. And now people are starting to want to go out more. They are, then all of a sudden hospitality placements have certainly gone up. But then again, those people have to be at their job. They cannot work remotely. I think also another job that was hurt was even on the airline business, that maybe that they people were not flying, they were not traveling. The other part that is which has always played a critical part in the economy is accounting and finance. So you had people that were refinancing their homes. You had a lot of loans being taken out. People were fixing up homes. Maybe they wanted loans. I mean, they were taking different mortgages. Mortgage rates were very low. So people were taking, being able to then qualify really for loans at a much lower rate. So now what has happened? Maybe the housing market is stalled a little bit. People are not moving as much because interest rates are going up. That mortgage companies, maybe their business is not quite as busy as it was. On the accounting and finance, you have so many new rules and regulations that all of a sudden those companies are going to have to bring somebody in. They have to look at their finances, what their budget, where are they, where do they want to go? So, I mean, business will go on. People will always need people to help them make their businesses successful. And that's why the recruiting and staffing industry is such an important part of really the much bigger picture of the whole United States economy. Because if you have people who are stopped working, you will not have people paying taxes, you will not have people having incomes, and there will certainly, we want to have a healthy economy.
The other question is like, what jobs are more in demand? And nowadays, people are thinking that I would like to have this certificate, to have a great job. Some people say nursing is great. They leave everything, they go for nursing. Some others say no, construction is in demand. So what is your experience?
Well, my experience really are accounting and finance are always going to be healthy because you will always need accountants. You will always need people to help on the financial. That you will also always need medical. People will always have, the aging population. You will have people that will go in. Of course, that it all kind of changes, and I think what is important is the person has to find what they enjoy. Because you can say to somebody, I want you to become an accountant, and they're like, oh my gosh, I don't like sitting at a desk all day. I don't like looking at all these numbers. I really like talking with people. Then they have to look for a job that is really more personal. Maybe looking at the staffing and recruiting industry would be a good solution to them. But whatever it is, that they have to be able to find what is going to make them happy. Because if the person is not happy, it doesn't really matter what kind of job that they can get. They won't want to stay. They won't do a good job because
Some people,
heart really is not in it. So
yeah,
it really
some
goes
people,
back.
let me interrupt here. Some people say that if we get more money, we will be very happy.
I don't think that in the long run. I think maybe somebody on a very short term would say, yes, that's fine. I think there was a term for that is called the golden handcuffs, that somebody wanted to stay at a job because they were making too much money to ever quit and go somewhere else. But is that person really happy there? Are they going to stay? Are they going to do a good job for the client? Or is it going to be all of a sudden, yes, you're going to be there for years, then the client company is going to come in and say, well, we found somebody that is cheaper, that it's less expensive to hire, and you will lose your job. And so then is that a good solution? No. So I really think it goes back to that personal decision, and that's where AI cannot make that decision for people. And you can, when you talk to somebody, are they happy? Are they glad to be there? When you call and you have a problem, you want someone to pick up the phone and be able to help you and be glad. You don't want to have somebody on that other end of the phone that is just doing it because of the money.
So I got, do whatever you love to do.
Yes. And I think the money will follow. I
Okay,
think because if you love what you do, you're going to do a good job and the money will come.
Great. So if someone would like to start a staffing agency, what is your recommendation for them?
I definitely would use a blended model.
Mhm.
And I would use an EOR, an employer of record, for your contract placements. And one of the main reasons when you're talking about money is there is no money outlay for a recruiter when they use an EOR, because then that employer of record will normally fund the payroll and fund all of the taxes and insurances. So the recruiter will not have that initial cost. Then what normally happens, and this is changing a little bit, but in the past it has normally been the recruiter will get paid their profit once the recruiter firm the EOR has invoiced the client company. The client company has then paid them, and then the EOR will then the profit will be released to the recruiter. But the recruiter does not have any of those initial expenses.
Yes. So is there any certification that a staffing agency required to have that?
Certifications? No, there really there's not. I mean, it's not like there's a college degree that is going to go along with a recruiter. That know that some HR professionals, SHRM, is the Society of Human Resources Management. They certainly can be qualified and certified. Recruiters, yes, there are different certifications from different staffing associations, but are they absolutely required? No.
So you are the director of United States Staffing Association.
Yeah.
How does your association help the staffing agencies?
Our benefits really go to more, maybe even small to mid-size staffing firms. And then how we really help them is maybe doing credit checks on your client company. You would not want to do a direct hire, or you would not want to put somebody on a contract if you did not know that the client company will pay you. So run a credit check on anyone that you're going to do business with. And USSA certainly helps recruiters do that. We also help, it's called best business practices. It is like a contract review. It is like, let us look at the contract that you are having to put in place of your clients, or maybe it is the agreement that the client company is wanting the recruiter to sign. Let us help you and let us review that to make sure that all the language is correct and there's not certain parts of that that you do not want to agree upon. And some of these can be very lengthy. And so let us help you do that. Also, I think on the networking part, when I took over this association, I talked to a lot of people and I said, what are you interested in? How can I help you grow your business? And they were wanted an in-person then meeting, which surprised me a little, but it was perfect. I mean, I was glad because I got to meet everyone. So we did have our very first leadership summit in Atlanta, Georgia last year. So where people got to come, because it is, where do business owners, if they have questions, who do they talk to? And so this really, the USSA was really built on the foundation of helping small to mid-sized staffing recruiting firms then have a place that they can go to talk to each other, to help. What are the problems? So that really is where USSA comes in. There are training sessions that we have that we've recorded, and we will continue to do that. But it is that, I think, personal connection, which it all goes back to, having somebody there that when you have questions that you can call and you can ask and you can get information. None of us are here alone. We need each other. And if you're passionate about helping others, then you will start getting those relationships with people that have similar views and opinions that you do.
So we would like to have the membership. After our conversation, we will fill the application and we would love to be the member of United States Staffing Association. Thanks for providing the nice and amazing information. I'm going to ask you a few other questions, but I expect the answers only in one word. Maybe yes, no, or maybe just one word, whatever is that. So
I'll try.
So the first question is a staffing agency or a staffing business is good?
Yes.
Should people trust staffing agencies?
Yes.
Do you have your own staffing agency?
No.
Do you want to start your own agency?
Wait, say that one again.
Do you want to start your own agency?
No, not at this time in my career. And I know that's not a one-word answer, but no, because I have been doing this for so many years. Really, right now, I want to give back.
Okay.
I want to help others be able to start and be successful. Because I have been there. I've been doing this for such a long time. This is not the time of my life that I need to start, a new career. That really I look at what I can do is helping other people become successful. And when you asked me before about trusting your recruiter or a staffing agency, there are always good and bad staffing agencies. So make sure you do your research. Make sure that you are going to be working with a recruiter that has your best interest in mind, and make those decisions. It's like any other profession, that there are good professions, and bad. And you just need to make sure that you work with somebody that you trust.
So what is the dark side of staffing agencies?
The dark side is
I mean, why people should not trust?
how about, let's put it, what should somebody, when they are looking to use a staffing firm, how can they qualify who they're going to be working with?
Yeah,
And
like so you say that people should be very careful when they are choosing a staffing agency.
Right.
Meaning,
And you will know, and I believe you do own a staffing agency.
yes.
Yes. So why, the question would be to you, then why would somebody use you over somebody else or one of your competition? You have to look at what do you do that is better and can help others more. So if I asked you, why would somebody use you over your competition? What would you say?
I would say quality, customer satisfaction, hardworking, a strong network that we have, and what we do, we speak less, but our action speak a lot. So I think, well, it is all about me, but there are some issues with the staffing agencies. So I just wanted to ask, there are lots of people in the market. Uh, so you need to be reliable. You need to have your own license. You create a trusted network. It is not only for the job seekers, for the companies also. Companies will not go and work with someone or with an agency which has cheap background or not reliable. So I think that the trust is the most important to build in a business.
I think that the term ghosting is, when either a client company or an applicant stops all communication with the recruiter, or then also you have to think of, why is that? Is it because you have not established that relationship, that the candidate or your client does not feel comfortable, that they want to keep in that communication? Do they feel that the time is not valuable to them to be in contact with you? And if they do not see any value, they will ghost you. That you will not be worth their time to try to get back in touch with you. And so that is true, I think, on both parts. I think your applicants, how do recruiters know that they are working with somebody that really does want to, go in, change their job, have a good work ethic, will show up on their first day of work, and will work hard? So it all goes, I guess, with trust, and that communication, that everyone is on and working for the same goal. Because if not, it's a waste of everyone's time. And nobody wants to waste their time. Their time is valuable. And if they're not helping you, if you're not serious about, making a job change, then don't waste the recruiter's time trying to see maybe what's in it for them, or what can I do, or what can you do to help me? But really, it's that communication. Make sure that everyone knows and trusts each other, that you have the same goal in mind.
Thank you very much for the information. It was such a nice interview, and we learned a lot, the insights, the useful information. I think we cover all aspects of a staffing agency, a recruiting agency, what we need if we start a business, and how to approach the clients, and how to build a trusted network, and how to use artificial intelligence. And so all these important topics. One other issue, which is the most important, how to charge the client, how much to charge the client. So these were the important topics that you already discussed. Thank you very much for your time. At the end, how can people find you?
Please send me an email. It can go to Judy, Judy, at usstaffing.org. And so, or go to our website, just usstaffing.org, and look and see what we can offer. And I am always here to help. I am very passionate in helping other people be successful.
Thank you very much. Thank you. You're doing a great job helping other people to be successful. I think this is a great job.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks for your time. Have a good day.